if you're not demonstrating the tangible before and after of your offer, it's like, cool, you have an offer, but what does it do? What am I going to get? How is this going to tangibly impact my life? Why would I buy from you? Can you see the difference? When your audience is able to really see and visualize and sort of grab onto what it is that changes in their lives as a result of working with you, trust just goes off the charts. Excitement goes off the charts. People are ready to invest when they can have a real clear sense of what they're getting for their money. Welcome to the Mastery with Michael podcast, hosted by yours truly, Michael Emily Schuster. I'm here to help you stop spinning your wheels and start operating like a truly mastered CEO. On this podcast, I'm pulling back the curtain on the calibrated business systems, magnetic messaging, and sales psychology I use to help my students build full-time online businesses. I'll be giving you my best advice, internal trainings, and the mindset shifts required to start scaling your expertise and achieve complete mastery over your business. If you are new here, my name is Michael. You are watching or listening to Mastery with Michael, where we master all things online business, messaging, energetics, life, all the components that go into running a full-time, thriving, profitable coaching business. This is the biggest entrepreneur revolution that we have seen in decades. People are no longer satisfied with receiving information. Information is free. It's readily available. AI can tell you anything and everything that you need to know in the snap of a finger. But what is everyone realizing in the midst of this AI awakening? Information does not create results in our lives. And so when we want to create results, we need support, we need accountability, and who do we look for to help us create those results? We look for coaches, guides, teachers, healers, and that is you, my friend. And that is why I am so passionate about helping you create a full-time online business so that you can live the life of your dreams while making the biggest positive impact on your community and the world possible. Not gonna lie, this is my grand utopian idea of how we save the world, right? Is by each and every individual taking responsibility for making the change that they want to see, starting right here at home, doing the best that they can to be healthy, to have fulfilling relationships, to live free, starting businesses, contributing to the community. I'm going to get off my soapbox now so we can get into the episode. You already know why you're here. Today, we are creating a signature offer that sells. But before we get into the episode, I have to let you know that this show is sponsored by my own business, and the signature offer inside of Michael Emily Coaching is Business and Messaging Mastery, my 6-month mentorship for coaches, healers, guides, walking you step by step through everything that you need to know, skills you need to build, assets that you need to create to run a full-time thriving business. Enrollment is open for Q1. So if that is you, if you are 100% ready to go full-time, to do what it takes to have that thriving coaching business in 2026, all of the information about the program, the application, the enrollment dates are in the description. So go ahead and check that out. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. Let's craft a signature offer that sells. And to take you through this, I'm first going to talk about reasons why your current offer isn't selling or problems that I see with clients, with students whose offers are not currently selling. I'm going to establish the trifecta of trust that must be present for any prospect to make a high ticket investment into your offer, to say yes to working with you and actually reach into their pocket and hand over that credit card and say, I trust you let's do this thing. So there are three core things that must be present in order for that to happen. And then finally, I'm going to walk you through the foundational research, information gathering, like what you must do to avoid the pain of building an offer, launching an offer, and having it not sell. Because nothing is worse than going through all of that work, putting all of your heart, blood, sweat, and tears into this incredible offer to spend a month or 6 weeks launching it and to have absolutely zero signups. And your girl has been there more times than I would like to admit. There was an entire year in between pivoting from the first business that I built to establishing myself as a coach that I was launching offer after offer after offer and no one was buying. And I made a grand total of $0 in my business in 2023. So I'm here to ensure that you don't have to experience that pain. So the foundation is going to be talking to prospective clients to understand exactly what they're struggling with, what they want, what they're looking for in offer, what their budget or comfort zone is in terms of investing in personal growth, business, relationships, health, whatever it happens to be. So those are the steps that we are going to go through today. Why your offer isn't selling, the trifecta of trust that must be present in order for you to make a high ticket sale. And three, how to do the market research necessary to set yourself up for success from the get go. And at the end, I have a really special treat for you because I am going to explain exactly what needs to happen in your magnetic messaging, the positioning around your offer as you bring it to market, as you start to talk about it in your content on social media, like what messaging frameworks need to be in place in the way that you are talking about your offer and communicating the value that you're here to provide that will establish irrefutable proof and get your audience primed, ready, and excited to buy from you. So this is the juice. If you are posting and you're not making sales, it is because your messaging is not showcasing the tangible results. But I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do that at the end of this episode. So you're going to want to stick around for that incredible golden nugget so that you can apply everything that we are going to talk about leading up to that. So let's get into the episode, shall we? As you can tell, I'm really, really excited and jazzed up around this topic. And yeah, I love to create podcast episodes around things that are really present, things that I'm currently working on with clients, with students. And this is a process that I'm taking an incredible client of mine through right now. We are deep in the market research phase, which is going to be step 3 that we get to in this exploration, in this discussion. But let's go ahead and start with why your offer isn't selling or what would prevent your offer from selling if you didn't do the market research that you needed to do. Now, the number one thing that I see is that you don't actually know who your offer is for. So many entrepreneurs get really, really excited about solving a problem. Now, I'm talking about entrepreneurs in general, people who create products, services, not just coaches, but coaches definitely fall into this trap as well. But these entrepreneurs get really, really excited about solving a problem that they have experienced, that they've witnessed, that they have a solution to. So they create a product, they create a service, they create an offer, and they bring it to market, and they're so stoked, and they throw a bunch of money at it, and they get all these investors, and they're like, this is going to be the best thing ever, except they don't actually know who the product, service, offer is for. They haven't designed it with any one person or group of people or archetype of people in mind. So it hits the market and no one can really connect to the product, the service, the coaching offer, because they don't see themselves as being the intended recipient. So they might make a couple sales or not. And really, they're over here just scratching their heads like, gee, I thought this was the best thing since sliced bread. Why isn't it selling? Why doesn't anyone want it? And the biggest thing is because you haven't called out who it's for. So let me give you an example of this. I was really successful when I first got into coaching. Back in 2022, I launched a coaching offer for this incredibly narrow niche market. I launched a coaching offer that was teaching young couples who wanted to live and travel on a sailboat, not many people, how to grow a YouTube channel and monetize that YouTube channel in order to be a full-time source of income to fully fund that adventurous lifestyle, traveling the world on their sailboat. Like, it's hilarious to me when I share this with people now in the community, in the circles that I'm in, because people are like, who even wants to do that? But when you're in that space, when you're in that niche, there are quite a few people who are looking for exactly that. And so when I have clients who are really nervous about niching down, about putting themselves in a box for fear of, well, if I niche down too small, like, who's really going to be available? Who's really going to see themselves in that market and want to buy from me? The conventional, or like, how would you say, the intuitive wisdom is that you want to create something for the masses. You want to create something that everyone would be interested in buying, right? When you create something for everyone, you actually create something for no one, because no one individual really sees it as being tailor made specifically for them. That was the advantage with the offer that I built. It wasn't just how to start a YouTube channel and monetize your YouTube channel. It was how to start a sailing lifestyle blog and monetize that lifestyle blog using Patreon as your main monetization strategy. Incredibly specific. And in my very first launch of that offer, I spent maybe 4 weeks in promotion mode talking about it, and I had 5 clients sign up for that offer, which just absolutely blew me away. And then when I talk about the period of 2023 where I pivoted from that business that I was originally building, the YouTube channel, Patreon, different monetization streams, coaching in that space, to coaching more broadly on social media marketing. And I didn't know who exactly I was launching offers for. I made the mistake of not going back to the drawing board and doing market research to decide who was I creating these offers for. I was just launching these, here, let me help you with social media. Let me help you show up more visibly. Let me help you show up face to camera on social media. But like, who for and for what purpose, right? I didn't have the niche defined, and I didn't have the tangible results or benefits defined. So it's obvious now when I look back, I made no sales. I signed 0 clients. And then when I did go back and started doing market research, talking to people, getting clear on what was desired, what was wanted in the marketplace, I started making sales and getting clients again. So that's problem number 1, is you don't know who your offer is for. Some other reasons that your offer might not be selling is it might not actually be in demand. You might not actually have stumbled onto something that you think is so brilliant, but the market might actually not be in demand for. You might not be clear enough in explaining exactly what it does in a way that people can really understand what's in it for them, what's the tangible benefit, what are they getting when they make this purchase. There might not be sufficient proof for the results that you're promising. Back to my example with launching the coaching offer for sailors who wanted to start blogs on YouTube. I had been in that space for 3 years, actively building a YouTube channel, monetizing that YouTube channel, living the lifestyle that I was telling people that I could help them achieve. So there was all of that time and proof and episodes and visibility built up to make it really, really plausible that I could help other people do this thing because I had so clearly done it, right? So you might be embodied in the results that you're promising, but have you been visible enough in demonstrating your proficiency or the fact that you are walking the walk, that you're living the lifestyle? you are embodying the transformation. And finally, the positioning around your offer, the messaging that you're using to describe it, might not be anchored in one of the three eternal markets. Those eternal markets are health, love, and money. And the reason why this is so important, and I'll get into this in more detail when I get to the messaging framework that I'm going to share with you. But the reason it's so important to have your offer anchored in one of the three eternal markets is because these are the things that people are always buying. These are the things that people always need, are always investing in. Because if you're missing any one of those three things, that's a deep concern. That's a big preoccupation that is at the top of your mind in any given day. You might have great health and great relationships. If you don't have great money, that's a problem. If you have great relationships, great money, but you don't have good health, that's a big problem. If you've got good health and good money, but your relationships are suffering, that's a huge concern as well. So it's only the human that has, great health, incredible relationships, more money than they know what to do with, knows exactly how to manage that money, that's like probably not investing in the coaching space. That's probably a Tony Robbins, like a top of the coaching industry, right? So anchoring your offer into the three eternal markets will ensure that it's in demand. So that's addressing problem number one. If your offer isn't in demand, is it anchored into one of the three eternal markets in the way that you're positioning it, in the way that you're talking about it? Okay, so those are all the reasons why your offer might not currently be selling. Let's just summarize what I've started to get into, which is the trifecta of trust that is needed in order for a transaction to take place, in order for someone to be like, absolutely, here's my credit card, sign me up, right? So, three things need to take place. First of all, the prospect must trust the methodology around your offer that you are proposing is going to help them get to the results that they're looking for. So they've come to you and expressed a problem and a desired solution, and you've been like, great, here's what would take you to that desired solution. This is the method that I'm proposing. And they're hearing that and they're like, yeah, that checks out. That sounds like exactly what I need. Okay, boom, check. That's done. The next one is, do they trust you to help lead them, guide them, support them through that methodology, through that process to get to the result? Are they looking at you like, yes, I think they have also walked this path, so I trust them to lead me through it, right? Going back to my example with the YouTube channel, the sailing vlogs, absolutely. I had been walking that walk for so long in like such a prolific capacity. I created over 200 vlogs of my life living the sailing lifestyle before I even launched an offer that was like, hey, let me help you do this. And so all of that proof was out there. All of that was visible, that was demonstrated, which contributed to me being really successful with that initial coaching offer. And then finally, perhaps the most persnickety of all is, does the prospect trust themselves enough to show up for the process, for the support that you can offer in order to get the results that they want? And this is where, when you're in a sales conversation with a prospect, this is mainly what they're testing for when they're hitting you with objections is, can you coach me in a way that makes me feel as though I can trust myself to show up for this? Can you help me step into the identity of the person that I want to become on this sales call before I even hand you my credit card, that makes me trust I can actually do this with your help and with your method? When you have clients come to you that have already built that self-trust, oftentimes they're not going to need a call. If you are fully demonstrating what the offer does, if your social media, if your brand fully demonstrates the proof of you being the ultimate guide for this offer, the clients are going to be ready to jump in. They're not going to need the call. They're not going to need that environment that allows them to step into real trust with themselves. And I'm going to go into how to frame your sales conversations, a potential script that you can use to structure the conversation, the flow that you can be with as you're running through the structure of the script so that you're not just a canned, like robotic sort of person in a sales conversation. You want it to feel genuine, you want it to be authentic, and you want it to be really, really effective. But that is a conversation for a different video. So let me just leave it at that. The trifecta of trust that needs to happen is the prospect trusting the method, trusting you, and trusting themselves. When all three things are present, a transaction takes place, a relationship is built, they're ready to go. Okay, so that brings us to number 3. Market research is the key to ensuring the offer that you build is what's in demand. It's actually structured in a way that your ideal clients and prospects are looking for. And the messaging and the positioning that you use to frame the offer, to package the offer, is ultimately compelling, speaking directly to the pain points and desires of your ideal clients. Now, the most useful thing about market research is answering problem number 1. You don't know who you're creating an offer for. And having these one-on-one market research conversations allows you to kind of trial out, to be on a mock coaching call with someone who is a potential ideal client. And you can feel out pretty quickly from the vibe, from their energy. Is this the kind of person that I would want to have a long-term coach-client relationship with? That's step number 1. I always empower my clients to not just look at, does this person have a problem that I can help them solve? Are they ready, willing, and able to solve it? But also, is this someone who I would want to build a relationship with, who I would want to spend time with, who I would enjoy coaching, right? Because you are not under any obligation to allow clients to hire you that you have no interest in spending time with and serving, right? So always be empowered to approach your market research from this standpoint of, who is the person that I am looking for? And not just trying to present yourself as the person that someone else is looking for to help them solve their problem, right? Taking that power back, sitting firmly, grounded in your seat, knowing that, ah, I am embodied in what I am here to help other people with. It's just a matter of putting the puzzle pieces together to craft the right offer with the right message that is going to reach the right people. Okay. So, what you need to establish in your market research interviews, the top pain points and struggles that your potential ideal clients are facing in their daily lives, that is like the biggest focus, the biggest challenge, that when they wake up in the morning, this is all they can think about. The ultimate desire, their goals, where do they ultimately want to be? And we can talk about this in a long-term, next 3 to 5 years time horizon, and in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. What are your ultimate goals and desires, right? So pain points, where are they now? Ultimate desires and goals, where do they want to be? And your offer bridges that gap. Once you have the point A and the point B, you can reverse engineer the milestones that must be hit on the way from point A to point B in order to have such high degree of confidence that your clients will arrive at their ultimate goal, at their desired destination, right? So, what that looks like, for an example, within my own signature offer, Business and Messaging Mastery, is I have levels 0 to 7 within my curriculum that all of my clients traverse. Level 0 is all about activating the CEO identity. Level 1 is all about building a magnetic personal brand. Level 2 has to do with niche and messaging mastery. That's where we do the market research and we craft the messaging that sells. Level 4 is all about the irresistible offer that sells and building the trust funnel that brings prospective clients into the offer in a really seamless way. Level 5 is that authentic sales mastery. So having those sales conversations either in the DMs or on sales calls in a way that's establishing that trifecta of trust. Level 6 is all about conversion content. So what needs to be said in your messaging in order for you to be established as someone who is ultimately trustworthy, has the proof of concept for the offer that makes people really ready and excited to buy into the results that you're here to help them with. What level are we on? Level 6, level 5 is client delivery, establishing a 6-star client experience within your containers. How do you need to set things up so that from the welcome packet to the testimonial that they leave, it feels like a white glove, high touch, premium experience that they're going to want to tell all of their friends and network about so that referrals become your best marketing strategy. That's what we want. Incredible word of mouth. And then finally, the last level is the CEO scalable systems, where I'm giving you all of the tools, systems, processes, and ultimate dashboard to track your KPIs, to keep the finger on the pulse of your business so that you know where the bottlenecks are happening and what needs to happen in order to fix those bottlenecks in order to ultimately scale your business. And that is the roadmap that takes my clients from absolute beginner, brand new coach, or worked with a couple clients, but not consistent in their income yet, to full-time, confident, and thriving as the CEO of their coaching business, right? Now, your method can be as simple as 2 to 3 milestones. It doesn't have to be like the 8 different markers, but what I'm helping my clients with is a really intense, complicated sort of journey. Building a business is simple and that it's pretty straightforward in what you need to do, but it's not easy in actually doing it and having the commitment in order to stay confident in yourself and moving forward to get to the point where you start seeing results. So these are all the things that need to happen. As an example, not as something that I'm saying you need to build like an 8 milestone signature offer for your clients, but take that as inspiration for what it looks like to reverse engineer that journey from point A to point B, right? And those are just using 2 very key pieces of information that you're getting from your market research calls, the pain points and the desires. The next really juicy bit of information is the exact language that your ideal clients are using to describe those pain points and those desires. When you start infusing that specific language into your messaging, all of a sudden you're going to get people leaving comments, messaging you saying, "Get out of my head. How did you know what I was thinking? What is going on?" It's like you're reading my mind. And that's when you know that you've won. That's when you know that your messaging is so dialed in, so spot on. Your people feel understood. They feel like you see them, you hear them, you understand them, which helps build that trust that you are going to ultimately be the one that they come to when they're ready to invest in the results that they're looking for. Then you can ask people point blank in your market research calls, what would an offer need to include for it to be an absolute no-brainer, like you are going to invest in it? And they will tell you exactly what they need, exactly what they're looking for. And you can build your offer with these specific pieces in mind. You're also going to ask your prospects in the market research interviews, what have they tried before that didn't work? So that you can point to that in your conversion content, in your launch strategy to be like, I know you've tried this. Here's why it hasn't worked and what to do instead. Similar to what I did to start out this video. It's like, You probably had a great idea. You probably launched an offer that you were really excited about. But if you didn't know who it was for, if you didn't ensure that it was in demand in the marketplace before you launched, that's why it didn't work. And here's what you can do instead, right? So that's what market research helps you identify and get clear on. And once you're clear, oh, it's like a sigh of relief. It's like you can finally start building your business on easy mode because you know what to say and you know what to build and you know who you're talking to. And it's just a matter of like, okay, keep doing that until it's all the way dialed in rather than just being out here in the chaos and the confusion of why isn't my offer selling? I don't get it. I feel like I'm pouring all of my energy, heart, and soul into it, and it's just not working. Like, that is the most painful place to be in. So please, please, whether you join me inside business and messaging mastery or not, please just do yourself the favor of getting on some one-on-one market research calls. You will not regret it. Okay, and to finish out this conversation, let's talk about the messaging frameworks that you need to use to leverage one of the most important principles of sales psychology in your content to get your audience from the passive lurker phase to actively engaged and excited to buy. What does that look like? So, we talked about the three eternal markets, anchoring the messaging of your offer into either health and wellness, love and relationships, or business and money, right? And for many of you, I know you're going to hear that and be like, well, maybe I'm in the love and relationship space, maybe I'm in the health and wellness space, but ultimately, like, what I'm here to help my clients with is self-love, is their relationship with themselves and growing into self-trust and learning to see themselves with much kinder eyes. And that whole relationship with self is what transforms their health and wellness and their relationships. And I agree. I'm not arguing with that a bit, but your clients are going to come to you because of the external marker that they're struggling with. So the self-love, the healing, the personal growth and energetics journey is the antidote. But what they're looking for is going to be either health and wellness or relationship coaching, right? They're going to come to you and you're going to find out what they're looking for in the language that they use to describe their problem. Like, I have this problem with my health. I just can't lose weight. I have this ongoing ailments, pains, etc. Or I have this problem in my intimate relationship, or I'm looking for an intimate relationship and I just have a string of toxic, bad relationships and I can't figure out what's going on. So in their minds, the answer is going to be something related to the three eternal markets. Now, a common sort of cliche or saying, I guess, is sell them what they want, then give them what they need. And this is something that, I want to paint the picture of and invite you into in the messaging that you use around your offer. Because if you're selling self-love and healing, but your ideal clients are over here like, I need to lose weight. I need like something to fix my pain. That's not going to speak to them. And there might be some people who are looking for that antidote, but majority is going to be at a different level of awareness. They're going to be at the level of awareness of the three eternal markets, right? And so speaking to them in the language that they use to describe their problem is going to be absolutely key. Now that we've talked about the biggest hang up in deciding which of the three eternal markets your offer is living in, let's talk about how you need to frame what your offer provides in a way that people can absolutely visualize what they're buying tangibly when they invest with you. This looks like a before and after kind of framework. Now, having before and after photos may or may not be relevant, but being clear on what is the tangible before and after place, what is that point A and point B difference that your clients experience through the work that you do together, that is what you need to clarify. So this is where my clients are at before they come to work with me. This is exactly what I did when I talked about the milestones that I take my clients through inside of Business and Messaging Mastery, right? They're either a beginner coach or they've worked with a few clients, but they don't know how to have consistent income. This is the before. The after is they are full-time in their coaching business. They're thriving. They have consistent income. They feel 11 out of 10 confident in knowing exactly what they need to do to attract more clients, to scale their business, to grow their brand and their impact. That's an example of a very tangible before and after. And you could take a picture of a client who was in that beginner stages when they came to work with me. And then what do they look like 6 months from now? But it might not be relevant without that description of this is what's happening in their business. Now, another tangible before and after that you could take a screenshot of would be their bank account balance, like screenshotting the payments that they're getting as clients sign up and start working with them. That's a tangible before and after. If you are, in the relationship space and you have a client who is single, is recovering from toxic relationships and wants to meet the love of her life, and this is the point B, her ultimate desire, you could take that before and after if that's what happens within the course of the container together, where before she's really sad, she's not looking great, she's had a string of toxic relationships. After, okay, she's met the love of her life, they're getting married. That's a clear picture of the tangible results that you're offering. But not everyone is going to be on that same timeline of being able to attract the love of their life in 3 months, 90 days, 6 months, whatever your container looks like. So you'll want to look at the markers that indicate they are on the path. And what does that look like? Maybe they're going on dates and they're having an incredible time going on dates with healthy people. And they're feeling so confident and anchored in their own self-worth and sense of self. Maybe they have a list of what they're looking for, what their standards are in their life partner, their soulmate that they're trying to attract. And so just getting clear on what is the tangible, what is my client buying when they invest with me? What are they getting through this work together, and framing that in terms of before they work with me and after they work with me, this is what it looks like, is so incredibly powerful because the brain processes visuals way faster than it processes words. You know the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So anytime you can help visualize, or you can help your audience, your prospects visualize what they're getting when they buy from you, this makes them trust that they're able to expect those results with a high degree of confidence when they buy from you. Otherwise, if you're not demonstrating the tangible before and after of your offer, it's like, cool, you have an offer, but what does it do? What am I going to get? How is this going to tangibly impact my life? Why would I buy from you? Can you see the difference? When your audience is able to really see and visualize and sort of grab onto what it is that changes in their lives as a result of working with you, trust just goes off the charts. Excitement goes off the charts. People are ready to invest when they can have a real clear sense of what they're getting for their money. So demonstrate that for them within the before and after framework of your messaging. This has been so much fun. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Mastery with Michael podcast. I hope this has been so helpful for you in understanding what it takes to craft a signature offer that sells. And as always, if you are looking for help, this is exactly what I help my clients with inside of Business and Messaging Mastery. I will walk you through step by step the market research process, how to find people to do market research with, how to make it really exciting and compelling for them to help you with market research, how to extract the most important insights from your market research conversations into a voice of customer database that you then get to use to Create your offer and frame the messaging and positioning around your offer so that it sells like freaking hotcakes. Let's go. All right. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you on the next episode.